Hey everyone, it's Stephen here and welcome to my collection video for all the fragrances that I currently own. I last filmed one of these collection videos back in November 2017, so it's been 2.5 years since and my collection has quite drastically changed then. A lot of the stuff that I had back then I don't own anymore, and I've bought and changed a lot of the stuff that I own. So this video will be a point of view run through of all my collection, and it should give you a good taste now of what I'm into and basically what I have. So I'll jump into it and thanks, and I hope you enjoy. So this is effectively a castoreum tincture by the brand profumo.it, meaning Italy. The perfumer is he creates a lot of natural attars and stuff like that, and I don't think the brand goes by this name anymore. So this is a castoreum blend which I find works extremely well layered with other stuff. I totally blind bought this and it was kind of a bit impulsive and it really does add depth and extra longevity to scents because it gives it that castoreum kick. So this is one of the few scents I've owned now for quite a few years. This is Garde by Lanvin. It's a great sort of tobacco honey scent which kind of lasts for a long time and is great for kind of nighttime and the cold weather. I really do like this. However, I probably won't buy it again if my bottle runs out. I mean, when my bottle runs out. So here's one of the many vintage stuff that you'll be seeing. Here's the hyped and kind of famed Incense by Givenchy. This is a spray version and it's an extremely masculine floral. It gives you, it's very sharp and the notes kind of jump off in a, I don't know, it's very sharp but it lasts for a long time. I was wearing this yesterday and it's perfectly suited for springtime when the sun is kind of coming out. It's a great scent for that. I have here Yatagan by Caron. Here's a vintage-ish, I think it's the perhaps second or first reformulation. This is a great sort of leathered green scent. It's very strong and long lasting. People say there's a prominent celery note in there, but I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar with celery, so I don't really pick that up. There is like a strangeness to it, which could be what the celery gives, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this is a fantastic scent. I did buy. Here is Fougere Royale by Houbigant. This is the parfum version. I did own the EDP, but I then owned both of them and I thought there's no point to really own the both of them. It's a good scent, but I do find it somewhat synthetic. It does last for a long time. When I run out, I won't rebuy this. To be honest, I was thinking about selling it, but you can see the volume raining. There's not much point, I don't think. But it is the parfum, so I think it's worth about £3 per mil, so this small amount could be 50 or 60 quid, so I don't know. Yeah, here's a good scent. It's a Dali pour Homme by Salvador Dali. This is a really old school fragrance, kind of heavy on, it has like a mustiness to it and it's a very dark scent. People have described it in reviews as being scary or something like that, but I don't find that at all. It's a very captivating scent. It's quite serious, but I find that it gives off a very sophisticated aroma, and this is the first edition as well. It has been reformulated, but I don't think it's available nowadays. But this is a great scent. I'd probably buy it again if I run out, but I won't for a while. So here's a classic. It's Bel Ami by Hermes. This is the first reformulation. It's a fantastic scent. It's such an amazing leathered scent. It's very complex. Super high class. This is an outstanding fragrance. I would recommend people to try this. I haven't tried it in its current incarnation, but I've heard it's not too bad. I've also tried Bel Ami Vetiver, which is a great scent, but it has nothing on this. This is fantastic. So you probably begin to see a trend here in the stuff I own. So this is Italian Cypress by Tom Ford. I probably wouldn't rebuy it. I have many scents which are similar to this, so I don't really need this in my collection, but I really do like it. So this is Jabir, I think, or Jabir, by the brand of Chemi, which is Xerjoff. This is a great floral, oudi, with a slight kind of dirtiness in there. It lasts for a stupid amount of time. It's a parfum. It was very expensive, and again, a blind buy. Here's another classic. It's Hermes. This is a 2007 bottle, so it's somewhat vintage. Again, very nice leather, kind of tobacco in there, I think, and just the overall scent this gives is amazing. I found that my father used to wear this back in the day, so that was kind of a cool association. And yeah, I love this juice. If I run out, I would buy it again. I may go and try and seek out an older bottle again. Here's a kind of like a Fougere kind of Chypre by the brand Francesco Smalto, and this is Smalto pour Homme. This is a great kind of herbal, a little bit of kind of fruit at the start, but it dries down into a classic kind of barbershop-y. Yeah, it's a really good scent. I haven't actually worn this one that much to give you a breakdown, plus I tend to wear it at night, so I'll spray it like maybe 2 hours before bed, so I don't really give it a proper wearing. So this is the one of the few scents in my collection which I'm not too familiar with. In the same vein here, this is Maxim's Pour Homme by I think Maxim's is like this French restaurant which is quite famous, and they released their own fragrance. This is quite similar to the Smalto in the sense that it's a very classical smelling, sort of late 80s I think, and quite herbaceous, oak mossy, that kind of stuff. And again, along with the Smalto, I haven't worn this much, and if I do it, it's at night, so I do need to give this further wearings really. This is Russian Oud by Areej Dore. This is a great scent. I don't wear it that often due to its kind of complexity, and just sometimes I don't feel like it's the appropriate scent for what I want to do. But when I do wear it, I really enjoy it. It's a chocolatey, oudy, musky kind of thing, and it lasts for an extremely long time. Yeah, very good. Here is Centaur by Pierre Cardin. This was a gift. It's another, Jesus Christ, I own so many leather scents. This reminds me somewhat of Antaeus by Chanel in the sort of characteristics of it. Leather, it has a bit of brightness, I guess, because of the amber, and there's a bit of sort of like bergamot, I believe, in the opening. But this is a fantastic smell. It really does smell vintage. It has a vintage smell. It's a weird way to describe it, but it just has this. Right, that's a vintage scent. Here's Potion Royal Black by D Squared. It's an EDP. Super strong, this stuff. It lasts and projects for ages. It is extremely synthetic. It's a kind of oud rose leather thing again. Jesus. But the syntheticness of this doesn't actually deteriorate from it. It actually makes it better. It's weird. It's one of the few like obnoxiously synthetic fragrances that I like. Discontinued, unfortunately, but I'm glad that I own this. This is Enza Oud number 1. It's EDP, the very first release. This has now been re-released in a parfum version with different notes, and I think the EDP version may be different too. It's a fantastic scent. It actually lasts a long time, like 12 hours, 14 hours, and it's very high quality, natural smelling. The oud gives it this leathered feel, and overall it's a great scent. I wouldn't buy it again though. This is Fendi Uomo by Fendi. This is a fantastic scent. Again, leather. I think there's a lot of kind of greenness to it and quite strong oak moss. Patchouli heavy. Yeah, that's it. It's very green due to the patchouli. And oh my god, this stuff is so long lasting and strong. It's outstanding. Really good. And here's another rarity-ish, I suppose. It's Balenciaga Pour Homme. This is a 30ml bottle. It's weird. It's kind of, I like it. I really do like it actually, but it has this mustiness to it. Like it takes a bit of time for that to go away. When you first spray it, it's weird. There's prominent cinnamon here, which gives it like a sweetness and also a bit of like spiciness and heat. But yeah, there's a great scent. It's a great scent. It lasts for a long time. Can't knock it. Okay, so we have Vetiver by Galan. This is again the 2007 bottle. Fantastic. I first was a bit meh towards it, but I've grown to absolutely love this juice. Amazing. It's elegance, absolute elegance. A slight bit of dirtiness due to castoreum, which can become prominent if you overspray it. Absolutely cooling and calming. It's just such a versatile scent. Great stuff. This is the one that goes by the name of Faqat Rijal by Rasasi. I've seen it on Fragrantica as being described as kind of oudy, but to me I think it's more leathered. I don't think there's oud in there. I mean, obviously not natural oud, it would be an oud accord. but it's kind of, yeah, it's very long lasting. It's super strong. I don't have that much left, and I won't probably buy it again, but I really do enjoy it. It comes to life more in the dry down, and it lasts on clothes. It lasts for ages. This is Interlude by Amouage. I've owned this for probably 2.5 years now. I love this juice, and I don't think I can be without it. So when I do run out of it, I will buy it again. This is Lapidus pour Homme by Ted Lapidus. I'm not too keen on this really. I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. So I wouldn't purchase this again. This is Gucci Guilty Absolute. Fantastic, leathered. Fucking, it's like every scent I've said so far has leather in there. Jesus. Yeah, you all know this one, kind of that Dettol Band-Aid kind of scent. I love it. Here's a classic, it's Dracar Noir by Guy Laroche. This is a vintage bottle. I don't think there's much that needs to be said about this. It's a great scent. Here's another hyped monster. It's Lord Issey Noir Ambre by Issey Miyake. It's a really good scent. It's very strong, kind of somewhat sweet, and it creates a massive bubble around you. It's like really good at projecting, and yeah, I do like it. It's one of the few sweet scents that I own that I like. And yeah, potentially overhyped though. I don't know. It's great, but is it as great as people make it out to be? And here's Antaeus by Chanel. This is a vintage one. So this is quite different to the new one. I've recently finished a bottle of the current formulation, but this vintage one is noticeably, it has more to it. The depth is remarkably more. Yeah, it's such a strong, one of my favourite scents. Antaeus is a banger, and when I run out of this, I will buy another one. So from Pirwig, here we have Sybaris, or Sybaris, a very herbal, old school fragrance, kind of in the same vein as that Maxim's and the Smalto. It's great actually. I was wearing this the other day and it just gives off a very classy, old school vibe. And Quorum. Not much needs to be said about this by me. One of my favourite scents ever. This is a vintage bottle. The oak moss in this is extremely prominent, giving it not very, but a kind of a soapy backbone. This destroys the current version. By comparison, the current version is quite flat and just lacks a bit of depth compared to this one. Here's an old bottle of Azara pour Homme. The atomizer doesn't work on this, so I have to decant it because the atomizer just sprays out the juice without actually atomizing it. But again, old school barbershop scent. There's quite a lot of spice in there and kind of the oak moss, and just overall, really good scent. Also by Azaro, here is Acteur, meaning actor. This is a masculine rose scent with kind of a bit of leather and oak moss in the background. To me, this is a better masculine rose than Amouage's Lyric Man. This is very good. Also, it lasts for a long time, and just it has this very good elegance and air of sophistication about it. By Ralph Lauren, I have here Modern Reserve. Polo Modern Reserve. This is a kind of suede, a bit of a more modern take on the classic polo. I do like this, but I do prefer the original one. The original one is just kind of more deeper and more old school, which is more to my liking. This is still a great scent though, and it does. And here is its granddaddy, the classic polo. This is, I think, the first reformulation by the brand Cosme. Oh, fantastic. This scent is just so green. I mean, the name is the perfect apt name for it. There's a lot of pine in here, leather, tobacco, gives this kind of smoky ruggedness. It's just, it's amazing. It shines in spring and kind of autumn, and it's good in winter, but I find autumn and spring are the best times for it. Outstanding fragrance, which I will buy another of. Here is Tobacco by the brand, I'm not sure what brand it is. I can't pronounce it with the German. It's Mäurer Wirtz. Yeah, this is a great scent. It's quite peppery. There's no tobacco in there. I think it's like pepper and aldehydes. It's this kind of sparkly, quite spicy scent, which just lasts for a long time. I think this is it's the EDT. But yeah, it's actually a great scent. Also by Tabac is the Tabac Man Firepower. This is very spicy. People say that it's reminiscent of Gucci Envy, which I've never smelled, so I can't comment on that. But this lasts for a long time. It has prominent kind of spices, hence the name. I think like clove is quite prominent in there. And yeah, this is actually a really good scent. It's not too expensive, but I don't think you can buy it in the UK. From Christian Dior, this is Eau Sauvage Parfum 2017. This is a new bottle because I've used my other one. So I've owned a bottle of this close to from release, and I've used one up completely. It's an amazing scent. It's very bright, lasts hours and hours, great projection. I just absolutely love the feel that this one gives off to me. It's a fantastic scent. I'll buy another when I run out. Here's the older 2012 Eau Sauvage Parfum with Mäurer, which gives it the darkness as opposed to the Bel Ami in the 2017 one. I actually prefer the 2017. This 2012 one is great, but there's something more attractive to me in the new one, which is quite weird. But yeah, I do have another bottle of this, which is about this full, but I don't wear it that often, so I'm probably going to take me some time to get through it. Probably wouldn't buy this one again. Plus, of course, now the price, isn't it? It's stupid. We have Dior Homme Parfum. This has become kind of my going out scent. It's great. A lot of people don't like it, but I find the way the leather and the iris combined just gives it this very alluring scent. I just really do love it. I have here Eau d'Ispahan. I think this is a 250ml bottle, but I bought it as a partial. Really good price. It's a great rose oud. I did prefer Diptyque's Oud Paleo to this, which I did own and I've run out. And this is a great scent. It lasts for ages. When I run out of this, which will be ages, I probably won't buy it again. Here's quite a discontinued and difficult fragrance to get. This is Jules or Jules. This stuff is... This is green to the core. It's a very oak mossy, very green. I don't think there's pine in there, but just the overall vibe it gives is very masculine. It's very strong. So overall, this is a fantastic scent which has great performance. So here's Fahrenheit Cologne. This is super underrated. This is an outstanding fragrance. It's great. It's much better than Aqua. I love this one. It's so bright, but it has that noticeable Fahrenheit DNA with kind of nutmeg, and I don't think it has leather, but it's just when it dries down, it's noticeable as Fahrenheit. It's a great scent. I don't think people are giving it the credit due because I haven't seen many people talking about that. Here we have Fahrenheit Absolute. Yep, another discontinued Dior fragrance. This kind of smells... So whereas the original Fahrenheit is more gas and kind of that petroleum smell, this is more like a smouldering fire pit of sorts. It has notable myrrh and cumin and an incensey oud vibe to it. Quite smoky, a bit spicy. Yeah, it took a while for me to grow upon this one, but now I do really like it. I think this might be my third bottle of it. Here's Fahrenheit Summer. I'm not sure which one this is because I think there's been a few versions across different years. It's okay. I think the bottle may have gone bad because I think it might be like a 2004 release, and just the fresh notes at the top don't really come off as that fresh. It feels a bit gone, but yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Here's Fahrenheit Parfum. I remember being absolutely blown away by this when I first bought it. Nowadays I think the dry down is a lot better than the top notes. I think it's a little bit too sweet for my tastes. It has vanilla, which doesn't put me off because I'm not too much of a fan of vanilla, but in here it's done really well. The dry down is really good, but it takes a bit of time to get there, and I'm not too keen on the top notes. And I picked one of my worst looking Fahrenheit bottles to show you. This is, yep, Fahrenheit by Dior, the original. Vintage is ridiculous. It lasts 16 hours. Honest to God, this stuff is beyond. Again, this is up there in my top 5. This is, yes. So here is M7 by YSL. This is the first version. The first reformulation has like a solid back here and only a transparent front. Yeah, this is actually a really good scent. Again, I bought it and thought, oh, it's a bit too overhyped. But now I do wear it, and the way the orange, amber and oud kind of all come together, it's, yeah. I was almost gonna say there's something special, but I don't know if there is, but it is an excellent fragrance nonetheless. And here was this flanker called M7 Fresh. This is great. It's not aquatic, but it's like a citric take on M7. Again, this is nothing too special. The oudiness gives it this twist, which stops it being so boring. But yeah, it is high quality and I do like it. Right, so here's Bad Boy Kouros, number 1. So I have several bucket bottles of this. This is my favourite fragrance ever. The vintage bottles are far better than the current one. There's a much better note definition. Can't beat this bad boy. Okay, so next released. So after Kouros came this flanker called Kouros Eau de Sport. This was released not too long afterwards. It's not too much of a sporty take on the Kouros. This was early 80s, so like the aquatic trend hadn't came into place yet. So this is actually quite reminiscent of the original one, just with a few more citric and floral notes in there. It is a really good scent, but I don't really wear it that often. In the 90s then came Kouros Freischer, or Freischer, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. This is my favourite flanker. This is amazing. There's pineapple in here, but it doesn't fall into an aquatic genre. I think the name's a bit of a misnomer. It's not really fresh. Like, if you saw the name Freischer, you'd think there's a certain type of smell to it, but it's probably not what you think. Now, but this is Kouros Cologne Sport. Again, there's more of a prominent. By this point now, the flankers of Kouros like distance themselves from the original. They don't smell like that similar to them. There's a small hint of the original in them, but yeah, to me they seem a bit more distant. And especially with things like Body Kouros and Kouros Silver, they just took the Kouros genre or whatever into something that's not recognizable from the original. And because of that, I don't like them. Body Kouros sucks, as does Kouros Silver. But yeah, this kind of Cologne Sport is again, it's a more thinner taken Kouros. It's not as heavy. And there's a floor, it's again, they're all floralish as opposed to the original one. I think there is a notable bit of civet in here, but yeah, this actually lasts for a long time. It is a eau de cologne, but it's done really well actually. I think this is Kouros Tattoo. I've owned this for like 2 years, but I haven't really worn it that much. This is more of an aquatic take on Kouros. It's more of a, I think it's like watery in that sense. So I think it uses the note of Calon or Cologne, C-A-L-O-N-E. And yeah, it does actually have noticeable hints of the original one, so it's quite fresh. Yeah, it's decent, you know. I'm not going to say it's amazing because I don't think so, but I do enjoy wearing it. And this was actually the last bottle I ever bought. This was bought nearly a year ago. This is Kouros Eau de Et. And I think there's been a few named with this. So there's like a 2001, 2002 and 2003 version. This is quite minty with a bit of a... Again, it's more aquatic than the other Kouros flankers. But it's done really well. It's odd. It's like Kouros is there strangely, but then there's other stuff going on that makes it weird. Yeah, that's a terrible description, but I haven't actually worn this in a while, so it's not fresh in my mind. So, by the House of Xenia, this is Acqua di Bergamotto. So, by the House of Ermenegildo Xenia. This is it's a take on the more expensive one from the Essenza line, which is called Italian Bergamot. It's not as long lasting. It's still a high quality fragrance. It's very cooling. I'm not sure if you can pick up the text here. So this is Acqua di Iris by Xenia. This is quite different to the higher end, the Iris one from the Essenza line. That's a much more cleaner, softer, and perhaps more elegant scent. This is a bit more fizzier. The scent is more aquatic as well. So, sorry, in the Bergamotto one, it's not really aquatic. I don't find that true. But yeah, this one, it's much more aquatic. And the other one from the Aqua line is Acqua di Neroli, which was a 2018 release, I believe. Yeah, this is really good. It has similarities again to the higher end Mediterranean Neroli, but it doesn't come anywhere near that in terms of the quality nor the performance. It is a very good scent for what you get. I did pick this up for quite cheap, even though it was a new release. And to be honest, I use it quite a bit for room scents, just like, you know, spray in my bedroom twice, just to make it smell quite nice in here. But yeah, you do get good quality for what you're paying. Here's the aforementioned Italian Bergamot. Really good fragrance. Super high quality, freshy, lasts for a long time. Retail price is kind of ridiculous for what you get in, which is effectively a citric, slightly herbal, sort of classical cologne. You know, the prices of retail is really high, but then people were selling these quite cheaply, so you may be able to get a good deal on these, although they are now discontinued. But yeah, this is actually a really good scent. Very long lasting. Here's Mediterranean Neroli. This is my ultimate favourite freshy scent. It's not really freshy in maybe what you think of freshy, but it's more citric, so it's in the same vein as the Italian Bergamot, but I just find this one just is better. The performance is insane. For a citric cologne, I get a 12 hours out of this. It's amazing. Dries down again to that classical kind of Italian citric cologne sort of smell, a bit of oak moss. Yeah, this stuff's wonderful. Here's Sicilian Mandarin. I like this one. Although now I visit this, I find it a bit too sweet. Like in the opening, the orange and mandarin just kind of give it this almost a bit too sweetness. But then once it dries down, that does go away, and it kind of gives you the same feeling as the other two. So I feel like this is a bit redundant in my collection, and I may probably sell it because I don't reach for it very often. Here's Javanese Patchouli. Again, this is very elegant. Patchouli is done extremely well. It's not too earthy, pungent as patchouli can be, but it's tamed down a lot in here. I think there's carrot seed and there's a few supporting herbal notes which kind of temper the patchouli and just combine to give it this very elegant and classy smell. Great scent. This is fantastic. Here's Haitian Vetiver. So again, Vetiver is toned down. It's not too kind of earthy and pungent. It's a great scent, but in my collection I tend to choose the Galan over this, so I don't really go for this, but I do wear it from time to time. It is a bit different. It's not similar really to, well, it's not too similar to the Galan, nor to Grey Vetiver neither. It's kind of in its own category here. Here's Indonesian Oud. My favourite rose oud fragrance. This is ridiculously long lasting. Not too dirty. People do say that oud can be a bit off-putting in here, but to my nose it's not really the case. This just lasts and lasts and lasts. Super strong performance, and yeah, I just love it. So this is Peruvian Ambrette. It has a very kind of oily feel to it when you wear it. It's dark, very dark. Yeah, it's quite oily. It smells almost oudy, and it just kind of has this really dark nature to it. It's very long lasting and quite a mysterious and curious scent. It's interesting. From another collection, which was the Essenza Spice, I believe, is Persian Saffron. The performance on this is ridiculous. It's absolutely possibly too strong. The saffron's obviously synthetic, and like I can pick up the saffron note that's similar in here. It's quite similar to the Isimiaki Noir Ambre. But yeah, this is a very good scent which lasts for ages. I think there's incense in it as well, so you get a smokiness along the saffron. It's interesting and yeah, really well done. So Xenia had a line called the Gold line, which they didn't have out for long, and they discontinued it not too long after its release. This is Musk Gold, which is ridiculous. This is such an animalic scent, which to my nose is just like, oof, very intense. It's very strong, and it's kind of just, yeah, strong in both lasting power and the projection. It's fantastic. I really like this one. I think these gold collections are quite rare now because they weren't on the shelves for too long. I also have Incense Gold, which is a brilliant smoky sort of, I'm trying to think how to describe it. Just like, yeah, very smoky fragrance. It's beautiful. It actually really is it's a top-notch fragrance, and I love to wear this one. And then the other one was Amber Gold, which this also shares similarity to the Miyake in terms of the amber. I think there's saffron in here as well. The overall vibe of this is quite, the colour of the juice. It does portray how it smells quite well, because it does smell that kind of orangey, reddy, browny smell. It's fantastic. So from the highest end, which was the Elements of Man collection, this is Integrity. This is a strange fragrance. I have a bit of a love and hate relationship with it. It's got a very weird herbal opening, which will be off-putting to most. Sometimes I can get through it, sometimes it's very unbearable. But once it dries down, it does go into a more, can't think how to describe it. Yeah, it changes, it doesn't sort of remain so weird. It becomes a very refined and elegant scent, but overall I'm not too keen on this one, and I will probably sell it. So yeah, these like retail for £250 for 50ml, which is bonkers because some of these are stupidly overpriced. This one, I can't see it. Okay, this one's Passion. This is fantastic. This is like a boozy, saffron-y. This one's a bit different. It's great. It's super strong and lasts for a long time. Possibly my favourite from the line here is Strength. Oh, this is quite smoky with oud and honey. It can be a bit sickly sometimes, but it's not overbearingly sweet. Again, performance is ridiculous. I'd say this and Passion are the ones from the line which are probably worth money. Here's Talent, which is like a citric, peppery scent. It's a great scent, but honestly, for the retail price, it's not worth the price whatsoever. I mean, it's a good scent, but it's not really bringing anything new to the table. And, you know, it has similarities to the other Xenias with the Essenza line, so it doesn't seem like that extra price is worth the difference in what this gives you now. There's no real improved quality to my nose. And this is Wisdom, which is the other freshie, so I don't know why there's two freshies in this Elements of Man lineup. I think this is better than Talent. It has a bit of a, I think like winter green or something. There's something different in here. Again, like overpriced. It's definitely not worth the money, but it's a good scent. I think I might sell the 3 of the Elements of Man line because not really worth holding on to them. Here are my backup bottles. Oh, there's a ton. Kuros Galore, Balenciaga pour Homme. This is Calligraphy Rose by Hermes, so it's unboxed. I don't actually have one open at the moment, but I don't know if I want to keep it. I might just sell it. Another Noir Ambre, another Quorum, 2 more Fahrenheit Absolutes, Indonesian Oud and Mediterranean Neroli by Xenia, Eau Sauvage Parfum 2012, Big Ass Kuros Freisha, 3 Fahrenheit, Gucci Guilty Absolute, and this was a Kuros Travel Sprayer, which is about 30ml, and it's evaporated and it's so fucking intense. This stuff's ridiculous. And also, when I used to sell stuff, I would take decants out of fragrances I bought. So like here's Kinski. And the idea was if I ever missed a fragrance that I sold, I could basically revisit it in decants. So 24 gold. Just a whole bunch of stuff I had. Savero. Mugler, B-Men. But I never actually visit these again, so I've stopped doing this because, yeah, and all used decants from 4 years ago. Other stuff. This is a fake Fahrenheit. Bollocks. This is a fake Aqua Fahrenheit, which the bottle looks absolutely authentic. juice smells terrible. This was a fake Smalto Dore. State in the bottle, the way the writing is. See how this is crooked compared to that? Yeah, just terrible. And here are my empties. So 2 bottles of Fahrenheit Absolute by Dore, Oud Pleo by Diptyque, Irish Mouche by Cuir, Fahrenheit, Rainier J's Oud Assam, Lagerfeld Classic, I think it's called. There was a very small partial given to me, same as this, there wasn't much in there. Calligraphy Rose by Hermes, tiniest bit left which I can't get out. Caron formulation of Antaeus, Noir Ambre, New School Coram, Vintage Kuros Fraser, and Eau Sauvage Parfum 2017. Not bad, eh? And here's some boxes. That's how I keep all my boxes, just obscure in the mirror. Yep. And here's my samples. So again, I'm not going into these, I'm just going to kind of show you them all. I did have a lot more, but I've kind of slowly used them all up. Several have evaporated, which is a complete waste of money to buy them. Others I've just given away or sold. Yeah. And these vary from sort of like niche stuff to very cheap designer. Well, not even cheap designer, cheap clones, cheap designer stuff. Yeah, covers the whole spectrum. So that's my samples, which I very rarely wear nowadays, but yeah, this portrays a massive waste of money, really. It's sad to say, but it's true. Here is all my ouds, including samples. So not just ouds, also attars, sandalwoods, various essential oils, different blends from many different brands. You can see that I have a lot of samples. I won't go into these, but... So guys, that was my collection video. I'm happy that I own this many now, because at some point I owned a lot more than I did. I have significantly trimmed down my collection, and since May 2019 I haven't bought any bottles, so I'm in a bit of a buy-in freeze now. I'm at the point where it just doesn't make sense for me to purchase new things. You can see from the video the vast amount of samples, ouds and full bottles I own, so I don't buy samples anymore. It's just got to the point now where I have too much. I also think by filming this video and talking about stuff and just vocalizing it a bit, it's maybe helped me to realise I still have some things that I could sell. I thought I'd reached a point where I didn't want to sell anymore, but I feel the Xenias can go because I kind of own them just for the sake of having this whole collection, which is a bit silly. There's a few redundancies in that Xenia collection, you know, with quite a few freshies, so I can definitely trim down. I mean, ideally, I think I have maybe 70 bottles, perhaps 50 is a good number, but I'd have to sell quite a bit to get to that. But yeah, just based on how I describe some of those fragrances, I can tell now which ones I like, but I'm not too particularly enthralled by, so I don't think there's much point keeping those. So there you have it. I've been testing a ton of fragrances lately, so hopefully I can kickstart this channel back, because I have so many samples, I have a ton of stuff I can review. So yeah, so thanks for watching if you've made it through this video, and take care and thank you. Hey everyone, it's Stephen here, and this is my 2020 fragrance collection video.